Third, let's set the stage. One of the world's longest-lasting democracies thrown into chaos because right-wing populists hijacked a major political party and narrowly won a nationwide vote helped by Russian interference amid accusations that the campaign lied repeatedly. Now the divided country can't seem to find common ground. I'm talking, of course, about Brexit. The more than two-year parade of parliamentary faceplants, the chaos has been coming at a daily clip lately, leaving lots of Americans pretty confused. So here, it's a simple WTF guide to Brexit. The trouble began in 2016 when the center-right Prime Minister David Cameron finally bowed to pressure from far-right party known as UKIP and allowed a referendum on leaving the European Union. Cameron, who thought the far-right wouldn't win, decided to make the split with Europe subject to a simple majority. Big mistake. The leader of the Leave coalition was a guy by the name of Nigel Farage, who talked a lot about British sovereignty, but had a strange soft spot for Putin and a serious dislike of anti-Russian sanctions. The Leave rhetoric might sound a little bit familiar as well. It was talking about taking their country back from out-of-touch elites and arrogant bureaucrats and railing against Muslim immigrants. But some of their arguments, well, they fell apart upon scrutiny. For example, one argument said that the EU received £350 million a week, and that would go instead to the National Health Service after Brexit. Turns out that wasn't exactly true. They said a free trade deal after Brexit would be, quote, one of the easiest in human history. Well, that's right up there with trade wars are good and easy to win. Meanwhile, in the final weeks of the campaign, there was a pro-Brexit push on Russia's English-language propaganda outfits, RT and Sputnik. And CNN reported that Russian trolls pumped up Brexit on social media the day of the vote. On June 23, 2016, the Brexiters narrowly won, 52-48, with England and Wales voting to leave, while Scotland and Northern Ireland voted to stay. The vote was also split along lines of urban and rural, young versus old. Cameron resigned, and his successor, Prime Minister Theresa May, tried to make the best of the bad situation. In January, after months of negotiations, May's 585-page divorce deal was rejected by a historic margin in Parliament. More than a dozen votes on alternative proposals have failed as well. Now, May even tried to trade on her unpopularity by offering to quit if a Brexit deal was passed. But nothing's worked. Meanwhile, the British economy's taken it on the chin. Now, this past Tuesday, May announced that she would try to work with far-left opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn, who's one of the few politicians less popular than she is. So what's next? Late yesterday, Parliament effectively ruled out a no-deal Brexit by one vote, forcing the government to seek an extension from the EU if it can't pass a deal by the new deadline next Friday. Now, there's also the distant option of a redo referendum, pushed by Tony Blair and others, arguing the country might vote differently, knowing what they know now. About the only thing that's clear is that Brexit's a mess. But why should it matter to you? Well, it's a reminder that even the longest-lasting democracies can be crippled by negative partisanship and nativism in an interconnected world, when people and politicians are more defined by what they're against rather than what they're for. And that's your reality check.